Well, tonight there are more details from that apparent massive leak of U.S. intelligence documents online, and that includes reports of a small number of Western special forces inside Ukraine. Washington's allies, including the government in Kyiv, are playing down the leaked material, calling some of the documents outdated or fake. But the U.S. is taking this leak very seriously. Here's Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin.
I was first briefed on the reports of unauthorized disclosure of sensitive and classified material on the morning of April 6th. And since then, I've been convening senior department leaders daily on our response, and I've directed an urgent cross-department effort. And we've referred the matter to the Department of Justice, which has opened a criminal investigation. Now, I can't say much more while the Justice Department's investigation is ongoing, but we take this very seriously.
Well, Professor Thomas Ridd is the founding director of the Alperovitch Institute for Cybersecurity Studies at Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies. Professor, it's good to have you on the program. How serious is this leak for the U.S. government?
This leak is no doubt very serious. There's no reason right now, despite of what some allies are saying, to believe that this is fake in any way. Let's put this into context. The leak emerged for the first time on a pretty obscure sub-channel on Discord, a social media platform. And importantly, the number of files that was initially posted on that sub-channel were reportedly in the hundreds and hundreds, but below 1,000. So the approximately 50 files that many media organizations have are only a small part of the initial breach.
You refer to Discord as being an obscure, platform. But how obscure is it? I mean, one of my producers was saying that his children use Discord to communicate with their gaming buddies around the world. I mean, everyone knows about Discord. Yeah. And with that being the case, how is it possible then that the U.S. government didn't find these documents for weeks? We understood that they had been posted there at the beginning of March, and it's been, 4 or 5 weeks since then?
Yeah, I think it's important to make a distinction. Obviously, Discord is not an obscure platform, just like Slack is not an obscure platform. But just like with Slack, what you can do here is to have closed groups, closed channels on Discord, and even sub-channels within them that are not publicly visible. And it was, I think, if I understand correctly, in one of those closed channels that is now deleted, that the initial leak appeared and was then reposted by members into other channels and ultimately into public fora on 4chan.
And if we go back to the fact that this isn't the first large U.S. intelligence leak that we've had to report on, why is it happening to the United States? I mean, is it because the United States is such a big target, it's a superpower, or is this a consequence of living in an open democracy?
Yeah, neither of the two, I think. First off, let's put this into context. We've seen in the past 13 years, since 2010, 5 mega leaks and a couple of smaller ones, all coming out of the U.S. intelligence community writ large. Cablegate, Snowden, I'm just going to name them. Cablegate, Snowden, Shadow Brokers, Vault 7, and now these Discord leaks. Now, why is this happening? There are a couple of reasons. One of them is here in the United States, we have, and these are official Director of National Intelligence figures, we had, as of late 2019, 1.25 million people who had top secret clearance and another 1.7 million people with secret clearance. The vast number of people with such high clearances makes it practically impossible to really do proper risk management. And there's overclassification. And it's simply still too easy to take some of this material outside, either digitally or physically, as we've seen with these files, because they were taken as pictures from physical documents.
You get the impression, too, that inside the Pentagon right now, the mood must be it's time to, take some names and kick some butt. That could be a normal reaction to this, but I'm wondering, in your expert opinion, what does the United States need to do to prevent these kinds of leaks in the future?
There's no doubt this leak is highly damaging, just like all the other leaks that I've just listed were highly damaging. But let me add a probably fresh and provocative perspective to this conversation. And that is the leaks are damaging and they should be avoided at all costs. Yes, but also at the same time, because of all these mega leaks, we now have a much more informed public conversation about intelligence capabilities in the United States. We now have a fairly detailed understanding of advanced technical collection capabilities in the United States as a result of Snowden and other leaks. So we have to just be able, as an open democracy, to embrace this contradiction. Yes, the leaks are bad, but once they're out, there's actually also a beneficial aspect to having that information out there. Of course, that doesn't negate the bad sides. I'm not saying that. But it's a helpful conversation that is enabled as a result.
But Professor, if I'm hearing you correctly, that the message here is we're going to have to learn to live with this.
I mean, the message is, to an extent, absolutely yes, because we've had 5 mega leaks in the space of essentially, on average, one every 2.5 years, every 2.5 years, and a couple of small ones in between. So far, I'm not seeing the measures that would prevent this from happening. So am I expecting back to be online having this conversation with you in 2.5 years? Well, the evidence so far leads me to expect that.
Fascinating, fascinating. Professor Thomas Rid from Johns Hopkins University, we appreciate your time, valuable insights tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.